So let me ask you something. It's the end of the month, you open up your bank account and you see $247. And you're sitting there thinking, where did it all go? Like you got paid. You remember getting paid. You saw that direct deposit hit. You felt good about it for like maybe 6 hours. But now it's just gone. And the worst part? You can't even really point to what you spent it on. It wasn't anything crazy, just groceries, gas, that subscription you forgot to cancel, eating out a few times because you were tired, maybe some stuff on Amazon that seemed important at the time. And here's the thing that really gets me. You told yourself this month would be different. You said, okay, after I pay all my bills, after I handle everything I need to handle, then I'll put whatever's left into savings. Right? How'd that work out? Yeah, that's what I thought. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart people stay broke. And if you're someone who makes decent money but somehow still feels like you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're tired of having good intentions about saving but never actually doing it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're talking about the one financial principle that changed everything for me. And I mean everything. It's called pay yourself first. And look, I know you've probably heard this phrase before. But here's what most people don't realize. They think they understand it, but they're doing it completely wrong. And that tiny misunderstanding, it's costing them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. Here's how most people handle their money. And I'm not judging because this was me for years, okay? Paycheck comes in. First thing, rent or mortgage, gone. Then utilities, phone bill, car payment, insurance, student loans, credit card minimum payments, groceries, gas, and then, if there's anything left, and let's be honest, there usually isn't, that's when you think about saving. You're paying everyone else first. The landlord gets paid first. The electric company gets paid first. Capital One gets paid first. Verizon gets paid first. Whole Foods gets paid first. Even Netflix gets paid before you do. Think about that for a second. You are literally the last person on your own payroll. Now you might be thinking, well, yeah, John, but I have to pay those things. Those are bills. Those are obligations. And you're right, they are. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. Why isn't paying yourself an obligation? Let me hit you with some numbers that should honestly make you angry. According to a 2023 study by Bankrate, 57% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense from their savings. 57%. More than half the country. And we're not talking about people who don't make money. We're talking about people with jobs, with careers, people making $50,000, $75,000, even six figures. But they've got nothing saved. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Federal Reserve reported that the median retirement account balance for Americans aged 55 to 64 is $120,000. Now, that might sound okay until you realize that's supposed to last you for potentially 20 or 30 years. We're talking about maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a year if you stretch it. But here's the part that kills me. The Employee Benefit Research Institute found that if those same people had just saved 10% of their income starting at age 25, they'd have over $1.2 million by retirement. Same people, same income. Just one different decision made consistently. One different decision. So why don't people do it? Why do we keep paying ourselves last? Look, it's not because people are dumb. It's not because they don't care about their future. It's because of something called present bias, which is just a fancy way of saying we're biologically wired to care way more about right now than later. Your brain is designed for survival, not for retirement planning. 1,000 years ago, if you found food, you ate it. You didn't save it for your 401k. You didn't think, I should probably store this for when I'm 65. No, you ate it because you might not find food tomorrow. And that wiring is still there. That new shirt you see? Your brain says, get it now, feel good now. Not, save this money so you can feel secure in 40 years. Plus, and this is the real kicker, we suffer from what psychologists call optimism bias. We genuinely believe that future us will have more discipline than current us. We think, next month I'll be better about this. Next month I'll have fewer expenses. Next month I'll be more organized. Future you is going to save all the money. Future you has their life together. Future you is a financial genius. But here's the thing about future you. Future you never shows up. Because when next month comes, it's not future you anymore. It's just current you again, with the exact same brain, the exact same habits, and somehow, mysteriously, the exact same amount of month left at the end of the money. This is where pay yourself first completely flips the script. Instead of paying yourself last, or let's be honest, never, you pay yourself first, literally first, before rent, before groceries, before anything. Now, immediately, I can hear some of you freaking out. John, I can't pay myself before rent. I'll get evicted. Okay, hang on. Let me explain how this actually works because this is where most people misunderstand the whole concept. When I say pay yourself first, I'm not saying take your entire paycheck and dump it into savings and then figure out how to survive on air and good vibes. I'm saying you decide on a percentage. Let's say 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever you can actually do. And that money gets moved into savings or investment automatically before you even see it, before you have a chance to spend it, before you have a chance to convince yourself you need it for something else. Let me show you what this looks like in real numbers. Let's say you make $60,000 a year. After taxes, you're taking home about $45,000, which is roughly $3,750 a month. Most people think, okay, I'll pay all my bills, and whatever's left, I'll save. And you know what gets saved, on average? According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the personal saving rate in the U.S. hovers around 3 to 5%. So on $3,750 a month, that's maybe $112 to $187 a month. Maybe. And that's if you actually do it, which again, 57% of people aren't. But let's say you flip it. You decide to pay yourself first, 15% off the top. That's $562.50 a month that goes straight into savings or investments before you pay anything else. But John, now I only have $3,187 to live on instead of $3,750. Right. And here's what happens. You adjust. You make it work. Because you have to. Because the money's already gone. It's not sitting there in your checking account whispering, hey, you could totally afford that $80 dinner tonight. And here's the wild part. A 2019 study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who automate their savings don't actually report feeling more financially stressed than people who don't save at all. You know why? Because they never see the money. It's gone before they can miss it. Their lifestyle naturally adjusts to their actual available income. Meanwhile, that $562.50 a month, over 30 years, assuming a conservative 7% average return in index funds, that turns into $675,000. from the same income, the same person. The only difference is when you paid yourself. Here's what most people don't realize about human behavior. We expand to fill whatever container we're in. This is called Parkinson's law, and it originally applied to work. Work expands to fill the time available, but it applies to money too. Spending expands to fill the money available. If you have $3,750 in your checking account, you will find ways to spend $3,750. If you have $3,187 in your checking account, you will find ways to spend $3,187. Your brain is incredibly good at justifying purchases based on what's available. Oh, I've got $800 left this month? Cool. I can totally afford to Uber everywhere this week and get nicer groceries and maybe buy that thing I saw on Instagram. But if you only have $500 left, suddenly you're taking the bus, cooking at home and realizing you don't actually need that thing. The constraint forces creativity. The constraint forces priority. The constraint forces you to actually think about what matters. And look, I'm not saying this is fun. I'm not saying you're going to love having less money available to spend. But I am saying this. Would you rather feel slightly constrained now, or completely panicked at 60 when you realize you can't retire? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. John, this sounds great. This sounds for people who have extra money. But I'm already struggling. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. There's nothing to pay myself with. And I hear you. I really do. But here's the hard truth. If you can't find a way to save 5% or 10% of your income now, what makes you think you'll be able to save later when you have more expenses? When you have a bigger house payment? When you have kids? When your lifestyle has expanded even more? Look, I'm not going to stand here and pretend that poverty doesn't exist or that everyone can just magically find money to save. Some people are genuinely living on the absolute edge, and they need systemic solutions, not personal finance tips. But for most people watching this video, and I can say this because most people watching YouTube videos about finance aren't in true poverty, there is money being spent on things that aren't essential. And I'm not even talking about cutting out all joy and living on rice and beans. I'm talking about the $12 subscription you forgot about. The Uber Eats habit that costs $300 a month. It's only $40 purchases that happen 5 times a week. The average American spends $1,497 a year on subscription services they don't actively use, according to a 2023 West Monroe study. That's $125 a month. Right there. That's your pay yourself first money. Here's the thing that makes this actually work. Automation. Because willpower is garbage. Willpower is a terrible strategy for anything you want to do consistently. Willpower is what you rely on when you don't have a system. You know what happens when you depend on willpower to save money? You get paid, you look at your checking account, you think, okay, I should transfer some money to savings. And then you see that your checking account balance is lower than you thought. And you tell yourself you'll do it next week, and next week comes, and you've got a friend's birthday dinner, and you'll do it the week after that, and then it's the end of the month, and you've saved nothing. Every single time. But if you automate it, if you set up your direct deposit or an automatic transfer so that money goes straight from your paycheck into a separate savings or investment account before you can even think about it, it just happens. You don't have to make a decision. You don't have to exercise discipline. You don't have to fight yourself. It's just gone. And after 2 or 3 months, you don't even notice it anymore. I set this up 7 years ago. 7 years. And I could not tell you what that money would have been spent on if I hadn't automated my savings. Not a single thing. But I can tell you exactly how much I have saved because it happens whether I'm motivated or not, whether I'm disciplined or not, whether I'm having a good month or a bad month. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the part that nobody talks about. When you start paying yourself first, something shifts psychologically. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your finances and start seeing yourself as someone who's in control. Because every single month, before anyone else gets paid, you get paid. You are the priority. Your future is the priority. And that changes how you think about money entirely. Suddenly, that $8 latte isn't just $8. It's $8 that you're choosing to spend instead of invest. And if that $8 was invested every day for 30 years at 7% returns, it's $95,000. I'm not saying don't ever buy a latte. I'm saying be aware of what you're actually choosing. When you pay yourself first, you start thinking like an investor instead of a consumer. You start asking, is this worth it? Instead of, can I afford it? And those two questions, they lead to completely different lives. All right, so let's get practical. Here's exactly what you need to do. Step 1. Figure out your number. Look at your monthly take-home pay and decide what percentage you can commit to paying yourself first. If you've never saved before, start with 5%. If you're already decent with money, aim for 15 to 20%. The exact number matters less than the consistency. Step 2. Open a separate account that is not connected to your debit card. This is critical. You need friction between you and this money. High-yield savings account, brokerage account for index funds, whatever. But it cannot be instantly accessible for impulse purchases. Step 3. Automate the transfer. Set it up so the money moves automatically the day after you get paid. You can do this through your bank's bill pay, through your employer's direct deposit split, doesn't matter. Just make it automatic. Step 4. Forget about it. Seriously, don't check it every day. Don't watch it obsessively. Let it grow. Check it quarterly if you want to feel good about your progress, but otherwise, just let the system run. Step 5. Any raises, bonuses, or windfalls? Increase your percentage. This is how you accelerate. When you get a 3% raise, increase your pay. Yourself first to 8% or 18% or whatever. You never saw that extra money anyway in your budget, so you won't miss it. Look, here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Most people will watch this video. Most people will nod along. Most people will think, that makes sense, I should do that. And most people will do absolutely nothing. They'll close this video and go right back to paying everyone else first and hoping that someday, somehow, their financial situation will magically improve without them having to change anything. And you know what? That's fine. That's their choice. But if you're still watching this, I'm guessing you're not most people. I'm guessing you're tired of feeling like you're running in place financially. I'm guessing you're tired of being stressed about money despite making decent income. I'm guessing you're ready to actually do something different. Let me give you one more number, and this one should honestly terrify you. If you're 25 and you start 25 and paying yourself first with just $200 a month, by 65 you'll have about $525,000 at a 7% return. If you wait until you're 35 to start, same $200 a month, same return, you'll have $244,000. You lost $281,000 by waiting 10 years. If you wait until 45, you'll have $101,000. Every year you wait costs you exponentially. This isn't something you can catch up on later. You can't just decide at 50 that you'll save triple and make up for lost time. The math doesn't work that way. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Not tomorrow. Not next month when you have more money. Not next year when you're more settled. Today. Here's what I want you to understand. Paying yourself first isn't about deprivation. It's not about punishment. It's not about never enjoying your money. It's about deciding that you matter. It's about deciding that future you deserves the same consideration as current you. It's about building a life where money works for you instead of you constantly working for money and having nothing to show for it. And yeah, it requires discipline. It requires saying no to some things now so you can say yes to financial freedom later. But I promise you, and I mean this, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're building real wealth, the confidence that comes from watching your net worth grow month after month, the freedom that comes from not living paycheck to paycheck even though your income hasn't changed, that is worth so much more than whatever you would have spent that money on. So here's my challenge to you. Before this week ends, set up your pay yourself first system, even if it's just 3%, even if it's just $50 a month. Do something. Take action. Because a year from now, you're going to wish you started today. And if this video helped you out, if you're actually going to implement this, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what percentage you're committing to. I want to hear from you. I'm to hear. John, and I'll see you in the next one.